3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Queen Stage. We're here to spotlight the athletes, stories, and action in women's cycling, giving the sport the attention it deserves. And we're going to do so with the quality, depth, and personality the sport demands.
I'm Rosael Torres Davis.
I'm Betsy Welch. I'm Anna Maria Roque.
And I'm Molly Herford.
Hello, and welcome to Queen Stage. I'm your host, Rosael, and today I'm joined by Betsy and Molly as we break down Stage 6 of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, taking the riders from Montbrison to Tournon-sur-Rhône.
Nice with the French, Rosael.
Thank you.
Practicing. Well, after yesterday's unexpected GC battle, we thought today might be back to a standard breakaway day, but of course the peloton had other plans. And another action-packed day unfolded across those relentless categorized climbs. So what we got was an absolute tactical chess match as the GC contenders blew the race apart, setting up a very nail-biting pursuit right until the finish line.
And I'm going to say 3D chess even. This was next level. And before we dive into our daily recap, a quick shout out. As always, we are so proud to have Bike Tires Direct and SRAM as our presenting sponsors for this show during the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. Their investment in the sport, especially the women's side, really makes this show possible.
Yes, and if you're loving our daily coverage of the tour, please take a second to make sure you're subscribed and leave us a review. We also want to hear from you, so please send your burning race questions to info@queenstage.cc, join our lively WhatsApp community, and find us on Instagram and Threads at queenstage.cc.
And when you do find us on Instagram, be sure to enter our daily giveaway, which is still going strong every day throughout the tour. Thanks to Zwift and Bike Tires Direct, we're giving away a highly coveted Queen Stage musette packed with cool little goodies, and we're doing that after every single stage. Thanks, Molly, for showing us what it looks like.
Yes, and entering is incredibly easy. So you just head to Instagram, you find the highlight reel for today's stage, and just drop a comment saying Bike Tires Direct and tag 2 of your favorite riding buddies. It's been so fun seeing all of those comments come in every day when I open my Instagram. I'm just so stoked to see so many new and returning names. So if you haven't won yet, keep going for it. And a huge congrats to yesterday's lucky winner at Rin Lee, and we'll be reaching out via social media to get your shipping details.
And if you haven't won any of the musettes so far, do not get discouraged because you can always snag 10% off at Bike Tires Direct using the promo code QueenStage at checkout. That's all one word, all lowercase, and it directly supports a podcast. So ladies, should we dive into the racing?
We should, but first I have to point out, if someone isn't watching on video, Rosael, your shirt today is so wonderfully Tour de France Femmes coded. It's
Totally.
Bright pink, bright orange. Where on earth did you get this? I don't like color and I need one.
So me and my girlfriends here in the East Coast, like New York, Philadelphia, we do a clothing swap every year. And I got it at one of those clothing swaps, and I don't know from who, I don't know what year. But yeah, I do love it. So I do save it for occasions like this one.
I love a clothing swap.
Ooh, yes, it is.
I love a cycling, like an athletic clothing swap.
Yeah,
with all of your.
Mine
so
always
good.
has an athletic section, and if it's cycling, if most people are cyclists, then there's definitely a cyclist section.
I need to
and I feel like
organize one.
Yeah. Well, now that all of protested and it's really hard to find a third party that is selling like used cycling gear. So really the clothing swap with friends and teammates is kind of the best way to do it, which is neither here nor there with today's topics. Although, what do riders do with all of their jerseys at the end of the season or when they change teams or when a team changes sponsors? That could be a good question for someone to pose in our WhatsApp group. But in the meantime, somebody catch me up. What did I miss yesterday? Because sadly, I was not on with you ladies yesterday.
Yesterday, we saw some fireworks. It was a very exciting stage, particularly the finish. It was a hilly stage. It was hot. It was hard. We saw a very animated breakaway being chased by a very motivated group of GC riders, a group of GC riders that I guess like contracted too, because we saw some of our favorites pretty much fall off the pace and the race, I'm afraid to say. Demi Vollering took a very thrilling victory. She launched just a masterclass of an attack on the final climb. She outsprinted yellow jersey holder Marlen Reusser and Kasia Niewiadoma. In the final meters, we saw a valiant effort by Kasia to try and take the stage, but she went too early. That said, did you guys watch some of the post-race stuff with her? She was still just like smiling and thrilled, and that's why we love her.
100%.
Anyway, obviously it was a great win for Demi, but a really great stage for Marlen Reusser too, just to see how good and steady and strong she is and how she really sort of entered the chat of being a contender in a new way that maybe people hadn't been willing to indulge thus far. We also saw some really strong rides from women in the break, like Dominika Włodarczyk. Did I say that right? From UAE Team ADQ and Isabella Holmgren, Neve Fisher-Black. Really great top 10 on the stage yesterday. Some riders who we will be hearing and seeing more of, I think, in the coming years. But as I mentioned, we saw some GC riders really, fall back and maybe fall so far back that we won't be hearing from them again in any meaningful way. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot just like had a rough day and said it herself. Like, she was kind of like, my legs felt fine, but like everyone else was stronger than me. And I think Anna van der Breggen too, I was reading an interview with her team manager, and he's like, there's nothing wrong with her. Like, she's eating well, she's not sick, but she just doesn't have it.
Okay, so here's my question about both of them, actually, and this kind of like goes beyond just yesterday, but like, is it that they don't have it, or is it that the level is continuing to come up, right? Like, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot said she couldn't go with the explosive, like fast moves, but I feel like in years past she could do that.
Right.
And she said her power numbers are actually better than ever. So is it actually like, are we getting into that specialized thing that we've been talking about? We talked about it, I think, after stage 3, like where riders are actually no longer able to just be the ones that can do it all. And PFP and Anna van der Breggen, I think, were riders that we used to think could just do literally anything and everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, it was a really great stage yesterday. Puck kept the polka dots, Lorena Wiebes kept the green, and Antonia Niedermaier took the white jersey from Paula Blasi.
Yes, and how weird was it watching Paula Blasi actually race back in the UAE jersey today? They mentioned it. I was like,
who is that?
Who is this? Yeah, what's happening? So should we get into today?
Yeah, Molly, tell us about today, because I had to step away for a big chunk of the day.
Oh, I mean, it depends on which chunk. I was about to be like, well, you missed out, but it really does depend on which chunk you missed out on. Although, once again, we only started getting coverage with about 80 kilometers to go, much to the chagrin of everyone in our WhatsApp chat and everyone on the internet, really, at this point. Shout out to everyone who is continuing every day to point out that it is absolute crap that we are not getting full stage coverage. But here we go. Stage 6. The riders started with 2 climbs, the Côte de Pérignon and the Côte de la Prunerie. And really, there wasn't a whole lot that happened at the beginning that we missed. It was really much more about people falling out of the back versus people going off of the front. But we did have Puck Peters deciding she's in the polka dot jersey. She is staying in that jersey. So she was the one who was really kicking it up the climbs, trying to get to the front of them to score all of the climber points that she could. But then it was a 3-woman breakaway. Loes Adegeest of Lidl Trek, Nikola Nosková of Cofidis, and Katrine Aalerud of UnoX Mobility. Nosková, she is, like I said, Cofidis was lighting this race up and doing the early breakaways, but Nosková, holy smokes, she has been in almost every breakaway, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, and she's sitting second place in the QOM competition. below Peterson.
Love that for her. I feel like she's earned it because she just keeps going. And someone has to be the one. I think it takes so much courage to do these early breakaways in the race because you sort of know, right? You know you're not making it to the finish line. You know you're just burning matches and that you are going to suffer so much later in the race, but you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, but also if there was a day to get on a breakaway that could make it to the line, it would have been today and maybe stage 8, just based on the profile. We'll talk about that more later. And we did have a breakaway workout today, but not the way we thought.
No. So that 3-woman breakaway extended their gap to almost 2.5 minutes. But by the time the coverage of the race started, it had been shut down to just around a minute, with EF, Movistar, and FDJ kind of leading the chase to catch them. We finally saw Kristen Faulkner of EF Oatley come to the front and do some work, although I have questions about the work from later in the race that we're going to get to.
Yes.
And then we actually also got the news that Yara Kastelijn had abandoned the race, which is a total bummer. She's one of those riders that really can animate the peloton a fair bit. So seeing her out, I don't think they said why she was out, just that she abandoned. So bummer there. Less of a bummer, the insane descending that was happening at the front or in the peloton with FDJ-Suez's Celia Géry. Oh my goodness! Like looked like, the phrase "cornering like she's on rails," like that felt really apt for today because my God, like the angles she was at when she was coming around the corners. You're like, can physics make that happen?
Yeah. I felt much better when the commentators later said that this is her hometown roads. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so she knows these roads really well. Okay, because I was about, oh my God, like, is she pushing it a little bit too hard?
Yeah. And they were also pointing out something really important, which is that the light was changing so much on those descents because they were coming in and out of the shadows. And it doesn't look like that much on the cameras. But think about like when you go from being in the bright sunlight and you walk into a dark house, how dark that house feels and how you can't see anything. And that would be how the ride, like, it would have been like being in the club and like strobe lights, basically.
Gosh, or like going on a, go ahead, Betsy.
That's another point about like how late in the day these stages start. Like I hate dappled light. It totally freaks me out and changes my speed. And I didn't think about that being another, side effect of these late starts. Interesting.
Huge. Yeah. And then she was also being followed closely by Cedrine Kerbal, Mavi Garcia, Marlen Reusser. So really a lot of the top GC people, the top descenders that we know and love, were all sort of right in the front. And they caught up with the break with 53 kilometers to go. In the meantime, though, we saw Kim LaCourte actually come out the back. We saw Anna van der Breggen come out the back. Kim LaCourte eventually made it back in, no spoilers, but she was having a rough go there in the beginning. Magdalene Valieris also, like EF, really just putting people up front this race. She was doing some work on the climb, kind of looked like she was going to just ride away, but then behind her, Paula Blasi, who we've been like, everyone's just been waiting for this moment, right? It feels like there's been so much tension boiling under the surface with her team, with people wondering about when she's going to go, all of these questions. And then suddenly, there she goes up this climb. She makes this fabulous attack. But she doesn't lose everyone. She drops Valieris, but everybody, like half the peloton, hangs on. And Puck Peters comes around to get the climbing points. And then Vollering comes back to the front to take over for the descent at the top of Col de Lalouvesc. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot back in the mix. Just wanted to throw that out there because you did actually see her maneuvering around at this point.
She was looking all right, and she ended up making at least 2 spots in the GC eventually.
Yeah, so just good to see. I think we'll probably discuss later just kind of what we think her chances are because she still kind of seems like she might actually think that she is in with a chance of like improving her time, which I mean, hey, I'm never going to count her out ever, but seems like she's got an uphill battle, literally. Anyway, Celia Géry attacked on the descent with 31 kilometers to go, but was chased down by Elisa Longo Borghini, Cedrine Corbel, and Puck Peters, also Sarah Van Dam, Luana Lippert, and they actually caught up with her, but they start working together. Once again, Puck grabbed the points at the top of that climb. And then behind them, Rihanna Marcus of Lidl-Trek and Kim Lacourt, who is back somehow. We never really even saw her come back, but suddenly she's back and going through the peloton. And they exit the peloton, chasing down this very strong lead group with 14 kilometers to go. Side note, we're going to talk about Géry more, but someone really needs to flip her number 13 over. I think that's why she did not win today. Like, that number is meant to be worn upside down. She's not wearing it upside down.
But I think she'd get fined. She'd definitely get fined.
No, it's meant. It's like literally the sponsors are upside down the way she has it.
I think the Tour de France traditionally prints it upside down already. So when you put it on the sponsors, yeah.
Okay, cool.
They have the tiniest bit of fun.
The tiniest bit of fun. Wow, who would have thought?
Yeah. Literally the only levity that they have injected into this race.
Okay.
Yes.
So with 11K to go, my favorite thing happens. Géry leans down and tightens her shoes. I love watching for that in this race. Yeah. I don't know if you two love it, but
we saw it yesterday also, and I forgot to comment on it. But it's such an intimidating move for the people who are racing against that person, and so exciting for everybody watching because they're like, yes, she's getting ready.
It's such a good, it's like such good foreshadowing, and like we all know what's happening. And yeah, I wonder how that feels to be in the peloton or like in the lead group or whatever. And you like look next to you and there's like Kasia just tightening her shoelace thing, looking at you. You're like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's the equivalent to either removing your gloves or taking off your earrings as you're getting ready for a fight.
Dang.
So she goes, but like pretty much instantly caught by Kim Lacourt, Rihanna Marcus. Then this gets hectic in that front group, right? Like they just kept doing this very odd thing where one of them would go, they would swarm. The swarm would basically come to a standstill. Another one would go. And behind them, it seemed as though like Demi and Marlen were hearing about that in the race radios and were like, oh, we should maybe try to catch these guys because they're busy playing games with each other.
Yeah, also, Elisa Longo Borghini had already been improving her virtual classification with that little gap that they had to the group of the main GC contenders, which at the end stayed at around 20-something seconds.
Yeah, which is a really good question. If the game playing by that front group, if Elisa Longo Borghini would have actually been better to just, even if she knew she wasn't going to win the sprint, like keep the pressure on and just TT the crap out of it to the end and try to get even more seconds because she probably wasn't going to get the sprint anyway. Anyway, so behind them, they're getting chased. 4 kilometers to go. I feel like the announcers were screaming from 4 kilometers to go because so much started happening.
Yes.
Kim Lacourt attacked it.
Yeah, and just Demi was just chasing so hard. Like she looked so fierce.
She was chasing like behind her, like Marlen Reusser, Kasia Niewiadoma, Bella Holmgren, Talita Dijon. Like everyone is there and they were like ready to fight for it. Kim Lacourt goes, Elisa Longo Borghini shuts it down. The group starts getting that weird, again, like washing machine effect where no one's going, but everyone's going, but no one's going. And I feel like they probably lost like 20 seconds at this point. Then the weirdest thing happens. Kristen Faulkner comes to the front and is chasing. And you're like, what are you doing? Your teammate is right there.
And her teammate is Cedrine Corbel. Yeah.
Yes. 1 kilometer to go, 26 seconds. As I calmed down and stopped yelling at the screen, it occurred to me that arguably this could be just more of a tactical. She knows she's not going to shut down the gap, but maybe can get more seconds for her and her other teammate, like bring it closer.
Yeah.
everyone else.
Noemi Ruig is their team leader over at EF. And yeah, no, it was a very sensitive situation because I don't know how much they knew that the front brake was playing games. And maybe they thought, okay, if Cedrine is gonna lose it, then I have to give Noemi her best chance if this brake gets caught and it's a sprint from this group to the finish line. But yeah, it was pretty touch and go there.
Yeah. Strange call. Would love to know what was being yelled in everyone's ears.
Definitely.
But 400 meters to go. Kim LaCourt starts the sprint. Puck Peters attacks. LaCourt comes back around and takes the win. Such a narrow victory, but she gets it right over Cedrine Corbel and Puck Peters, who were literal inches apart. Like, it had to be the photo finish to actually figure out who took the win. Sarah Van Dam behind them. Celia Géry. Too many Sus in this. Leanna Lippert, Elisa Longo Borghini, and Rana Marcus. And the peloton was like 26 seconds back, 28 seconds back.
First bunch sprint, yes, of the tour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the first two were sprint finishes, but this is the first like breakaway that actually finished with a good race. Good race.
Yeah, very good race. And also Kim LaCourt, like that first attack that she put on in this smaller group was pretty hard. And then to have it again to go for the sprint. Well done.
It's also, and it's great to see her, like, after last year when she, I guess, her sort of breakout tour and how strong, good she was. Cool to see her back.
And also she is showing her very own style of racing, where she's not, we know that she has more than one match left for those last, 5 kilometers, and that she can go and then go again and take the win anyway.
Yeah, and to me, Kim LaCourt, she's a mountain biker. That's how I first knew of her, was as a Cape Epic specialist. And I feel like today's stage was, if you're going to get, if you're going to compare a road stage to a a Cape Epic type race, today was a good analog on the road. And that's kind of how she raced it. It was cool.
Yeah. And before we go into the other discussion points of today's race, let's just update the GC and other jerseys. So right now, the top, should we do top 3 or top 5? What do we usually do?
Let's do 5.
Okay, that's the top 5 of the yellow jersey. So Marlen Reusser of Movistar keeps the yellow jersey. Demi Vollering follows with 12 seconds down, followed by Kasia Niewiadoma of Canyon SORAM at 1 minute, 17 seconds down. Then Elisa Longo Borghini, Antonia Niedermaier, Dominika Włodarczyk, and Isabella Holmgren. Oh, I did more than 5, but yes, there you go.
I mean, look, I'm glad we got down to, the fact that there's 2 U24 riders in the top 7 is pretty wild. 3 in the top 10, because Paula Blasi is down in top 10. And I know you mentioned it yesterday, but Bella Holmgren, I don't want to put any pressure on her because I think we put way too much pressure on these young riders, but holy smokes.
Also, shout out to her because, that we always talk about the riders who are doing things wrong, like dropping bottles and stuff like that. And she's been on the coverage a couple of times, doing a very good job grabbing onto musettes and bottles and all kinds of things and safely putting them where they go. And we should also give a shout out to such a young rider who has the skills to do all this and stay upright and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to credit her upbringing and her parents and stuff would have been practicing that stuff with her at such a young age because mountain biker family, they understand the value of skills and all of that kind of stuff. Even when she was 13, I remember she could ride no hands, just doing whatever. We'd be on camps and everyone else would have to almost stop to eat snacks and stuff. And she'd just be
amazing.
Doing
That's
stuff.
such a good skill, right? And then other notables in the GC. So with this move, Cedrine Corbel was able to improve 1 spot in the GC. Kim LaCourt, Pienaar, 4 spots. And I think also, where is Elisa? Yeah, Elisa Longo Borghini now is in 4th place. And she made up 2 spots. So pretty well raced today, even though the GC groups had a very tight leash on what was going on in the front. But still, it was a day for the breakaway in one way or another. Then for the points classification, the sprint jersey, Lorena Wiebes holds on to it with 144 points, followed by Lotte Kopecky with 79 points, Noemi Ruweg with 77 points. And yeah, I think Lorena Wiebes, as long as she finishes the race, she pretty much has that secured. And then the KOM jersey, Puck Peters has that, followed by Nikola Nosková and Sigrid Haugset, who had won a stage earlier. So the white jersey is right now on the shoulders of Antonia Niedermaier, followed by Isabella Holmgren and Paula Blasi.
And it's pretty tight. I mean, like, Paula Blasi is 111 back. Good lucky number there. Bella's only 25 seconds back.
Yes.
And Ninka Vinka, just because I wanted to say it, 114.
Yes.
So only a couple seconds. Actually, at this point in the race, are you two surprised that Paula Blasi is a minute back on the white jersey? Because to be totally honest, I sort of anticipated that she'd be like somehow minutes up on the white jersey. I was sort of expecting, with just how much everyone had hyped her, that she would be in the white jersey, like basically from day one, and keep it the whole time by like a significant margin. So to actually see her in third and like a minute down, not like a few seconds down, honestly, I'm pretty surprised, especially with the time trial for a triathlete, right? Like, I would have thought that she would have just crushed that and like just been away with the white jersey. Thoughts, feelings? Do you think like the stress of like, I hate to bring up the team drama because I know they don't want us to talk about the team drama, but like, we're reporters, we have to talk about the team drama.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, did you guys see there was a post race interview with Dominika Włodarczyk, and like, I for the first time kind of felt really bad about not being a journalist, but she was like, it's the journalists, like, you guys are creating this drama and it's horrible, and like, it's affecting us. Like, she was like distraught. So maybe that's playing into Blasi's performance.
It just sucks because, okay, first of all, if they have a PR person that's telling them what to tell reporters, they should I don't know, look for somebody else, or maybe they're not getting any guidance from a PR person.
Yeah.
But they should be, because I think there's a better way, more positive way to spin all of this. Anyway, what I'm seeing here with Paula Blasi is maybe like a little bit of a situation of arrested development, where we have this young rider who found cycling not too long ago, who shows a lot of promise and talent. But yeah, all this stuff seems to be affecting her in a negative way. It doesn't look to me like she's enjoying the tour a whole lot. And like you said, Molly, that her teammate also making comments about how the media is the one doing all this drama. But I think they could handle it a lot better and use Blasi as more of an, like, honestly, I think Blasi is being underutilized by UAE at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's always a tricky one, because yes, Betsy, I totally agree. Like, it does make you feel a certain way whenever you hear a rider be like, I'm kind of hurt by the media coverage, and you're like, wait, am I the media? Am I the problem? And we're like, I think we're covering this like the same way that we would cover like any other race, any other sport. Like, I think you have to talk about team dynamics in a team sport. Like, that is literally a huge part of how this race is won and how this sport works. So we can't ignore what we observe about team dynamics. Were there any teams that are like doing good team dynamics today? On the note of like, I now talked about the weird team dynamics that EF was doing. I'm still just like kind of confused what was happening there. I'm a little confused with UAE. FDJ, I felt like they really tried with Celia Géry to get her like in that position to win. I feel like Demi did like a good job keeping the gap, but not chasing down her teammate. Like, I would say she was actually a masterclass in like managing time, but not hurting her teammate, like giving her teammate the runway to go for the win.
Yeah, definitely. And also the Bisma Lisa bike was represented in that break too with Sarah Van Dam. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to ask you guys like about how do we think Visma Lisa bike is doing in light of maybe their entire tour plan going to, you know what?
100%, yeah. First, Voss doesn't have any, like, major, like, she's, usually you expect Marianne Voss to win a stage. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. Really sad
Yeah.
that has not happened. And I don't think it's going to happen with the profiles for the last 3 stages. So they're probably sad about that, but, like, obviously the big news, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot 5 minutes down now.
And also, she and her teammate, Femke de Vries, are 5 minutes down. To me, it's just that they're going to have to go for a stage win on one of the later stages, period. Just like
What if she wins Von too?
that would be sick, honestly, and it's
It
not
would be sick.
impossible. Yeah, because with that 5 minute gap, like it could play out many different ways. Or maybe she, today she was able to stay with the main group for a long time and not look like she was struggling as much as yesterday. But anyways, do you know what tire won today's stage?
Moving right along.
Do
Yeah,
tell.
sorry.
Do tell.
I do need to move us right along. But yeah, tire of the day presented by Bike Tires Direct. So we have again another specialized cotton TLR winning the stage under Kim Le Court Pienaar. And she was probably riding 28 or 30 in width, and they were sporting those tires with roll ball rims. But yeah, it's a specialized cotton. They seem to have a grasp in the peloton in different teams.
A literal.
They must be really good for
Yes.
hot roads, because they were definitely talking. I love the commentators say like it's cooler today. It's only 34 degrees Celsius, which is real freaking hot in Fahrenheit.
It was like 91 degrees Fahrenheit. But at least they did say, for a change, it wasn't as humid. They had a lot of more shade from the trees. So I'm glad the riders got a bit of respite.
Did it look like too the road was kind of like rougher today? Rougher surface
I didn't notice that.
to you guys?
Definitely in some parts, but they were saying they actually like some of the descents actually had just been repaved basically
Nice.
for the tour. But I think that's probably speaks to you saw rough road, especially probably on the
Up
climbs. They
until-
weren't as worried.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they were like, oh crap, we really need to get this section fixed. So it's not quite as brutal.
Yeah,
Well,
no, but we definitely saw the queen of those roads, who is also the writer of our deep dive today. Betsy, do you want to talk to us about the
Yeah.
boss of these roads in France?
About the local legend,
The local
as
legend,
it were.
yes.
Celia Géry. She is our rider deep dive today. She was also the most combative rider today, which I think is a designation that we all agree with, unlike
Yes.
yesterday's, which we were like,
Yes,
maybe
yesterday's was given to Demi for some reason.
Demi, who we might not have picked.
Mhm.
But today, the most combative rider was very worthy of that. So this is French national road champion Celia Géry, who rides for FDJ. She is only 20 years old. She is from the region where the stage was today. I'm sorry, I don't know the actual region, but I guess she rode for the local club there growing up. So we assume very familiar with these roads. She, as if you watched today, she is an incredible descender. This may be related to the fact that she is also a very decorated cyclocross racer, which makes, I know, well, both of you very happy because
Very happy.
big cyclocross stands over here. Anyway, she has won like all the titles in cyclocross, from French national champ to, I think she's a junior world champ, a junior European cyclocross champ, U23 European cyclocross champ. Lots of championships for her on the knobbies. And she last year won the first ever standalone women's U23 road race. So historically, the elite and U23 women have raced together in world champs on the road. And last year in Rwanda, they had a standalone U23 road race.
Yeah.
She won.
I forgot about that. Yeah, no, it's coming back to me because I remember watching, I think I wrote that the juniors race was actually really good. And I forgot she won it. Yes.
She's had an incredible season this year. She won her first pro race, Brabant's Pils, in the spring in a group sprint. In June, she won a stage of the Giro. She outsprinted Lucinda Brand to win stage 7. So
Which I guess felt just like a cyclocross race, right? You're like, oh, I know Lucinda from cyclocross. I can get this.
But it's awesome. I love multidiscipline bike racers. I think they're so fun to watch. Like we were talking about with Kim LaCour, they often have really, really good bike handling skills. And the funny thing about Celia Géry is I'm like looking for facts about her is she seemingly has no social media presence like whatsoever. She does have an Instagram page, but if you click on the posts, none of them originated from her. They are all reshares of FDJ-Suez's posts. So
I see, yes.
I even like, this is gonna just age me, but I don't have TikTok, but I like Google TikTok, Celia Géry, like same thing, no TikTok. I don't know, maybe she's on Snap, but I'm getting vibes that she doesn't spend a lot of time on social media, which is cool. A little bit frustrating because it doesn't tell us what she likes to do off the bike or, where she spends her time. I actually also texted Kate Courtney frantically, who just joined this team and was like, Kate, have you met Celia? Like, can you tell me anything about her? But didn't hear back. Kate's probably busy.
Any pets, favorite color? Give us something.
Just like something. And maybe that will emerge today after her awesome ride. We'll have some other journalists digging, but
yeah,
super fun to watch.
I mean, I'm going to soapbox about this for like 30 seconds and you can cut me off at 30 seconds. But the men's teams, they have someone who's doing social media for all of the riders. They're ensuring that they have solid profiles that, yes, are mostly about bike racing, but they really make sure that they get out there. And I feel like the women's peloton really needs to, or the women's teams are missing the agents, the managers, the social media managers that could actually really help elevate the sport as well. And I mean, FDJ-Suez, like, to be fair, like they've done a ton in terms of content for the team. But I would just love to see someone working with the riders individually to really make sure that their social media presence is as strong as it can be. And this is the men have agents that they start with, and most of the women still do not. It's changing, but it's not changing fast enough for how fast the sport is growing. Off of soapbox now. There we go. 30 seconds. Done.
Well done. Well done.
Well done. So should we move on to questions of the day from the WhatsApp?
As we should, yes. So the first one, the topic of cramping came up when we saw the Cofidis rider kind of fall out of the back of that lead group at the beginning, like towards the beginning of the race, rubbing her leg. Like clearly she was dealing with a cramp. I love that the international like sign for like I'm cramping and that's why I'm falling back is always the like gentle leg rub. It does nothing for helping the cramp, but it indicates to the cameras that that's why you're falling back.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the letting us know. And the hosts on the, I guess the Canadian feed, I don't know how many people are listening to it on Flow Bikes, but Hannah and Anthony, they were talking about pickle juice and the other things that athletes take to alleviate cramps. And the question of like, do they stop cramps? How do they work? All that kind of stuff. And pickle juice has been, and so that became kind of a topic of contention in the WhatsApp group. We were just kind of like chatting back and forth about it a bit. And yes, pickle juice has been like back in like 2010, it was this huge thing where everyone was talking about it and everyone was thinking that like it was something with the electrolytes in the pickle juice. Like that was what was helping in the brine, that kind of thing. Turns out that really doesn't do anything because by the time you're so cramped because of electrolyte loss, chugging pickle juice is not going to quickly get electrolytes to the muscle that's cramping. That's ridiculous. But what hasn't been disproven yet, and it's still kind of a little question marky, but what they think is that it does something to the like neural pathways that are causing the cramp. So if you sip pickle juice or some kind of briny thing, mustard is another one, something about that taste, that like sharp acidic taste, basically like shocks these neurons into potentially almost like distracting your brain from the cramp, basically.
Okay.
So changing the messaging that's getting sent. So it's a very weird thing. I don't know that anyone should carry pickle juice on the bike. I don't think it would have helped the Cofidis rider in that
Also, at that
case.
point, I just don't know. Your stomach is so sensitive and it's so acidic. Like I will get my heartburn would get activated, but also I'm 39 years old, so that also explains heartburn.
Are you guys crampers? Like I mean, I'm gonna knock on
I
wood.
am
I have
today.
never had a
I
cramp.
wasn't.
I've never had a leg cramp like on the bike ever.
No, not on the bike. I've begun to have leg cramps in strength workouts sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's the first
Ooh.
time. It's been happening for like a year now, like once or twice a year.
It
And
just seems like something that you have to like ride out. Like I can't imagine there's some like shot of anything.
I used to know a racer who he was racing Bear Mountain in New York, and he would get a lot of cramps, and he would put a safety pin on his handlebar, and he would pinch himself with the safety pin where when it was cramping, and he said that helped avoid the cramp somehow.
I think it's
But
the same thing. Like it
it's the
tricks
brain.
your
Yep.
brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had crazy cramping in the past, like where I had to walk with a cane for like a few days because my legs just completely seized. But that's a totally
Wow.
different situation. Katie Compton actually used to have the similar issue. It's like an overproduction of the thing that like wastes muscle, creatine keatinase or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
Anyway, so pickle juice. The other question that's been coming up a lot is actually a couple of the people in our WhatsApp group are on the ground at the Tour de France Femmes, and honestly, they're complaining about the merch. And I think fair enough. They're saying at a lot of the official stores, there is almost nothing that is labeled Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. It's all just Tour de France. Look,
Honestly, that
what?
like I'm speechless and
Yeah.
so annoyed.
Yeah. It just
So
shows that
annoyed.
the French still don't see the investment like at all.
This brings something else up. Sorry to interrupt, but like I this is really similar to how I've been feeling kind of with some of my friends this week. Like, okay, so there's no Tour de France Femme merch in the villages. I have so many friends that are so obsessed with the men's tour and like watch it and send me memes and all this junk. They've gone silent this week, which I know means they're not watching. And I'm going, these are like my bike friend, like my bike girlfriends. Like we ride together. Like they like bike racing. We talk about bike racing. And I guess I'm like annoyed, but I'm also intrigued because I mean, I'm going to say this a little embarrassed, but I don't really follow the men's tour. And now that I don't work for a cycling outlet, I feel like I can say that. Like I don't. I mean, it's cool. Like I get the headlines, but I follow women's racing. I think mostly because I am a woman and like, if you see it, you can be it type thing. But I don't know. Are your friends as engaged in the women's tour as the men's?
I think mine are all over the place. There's people who are dedicating full time to both tours. There's people who have people like me and you, Betsy, who have kind of switched our attention to more of the women's tour and then the men's. But I don't know. I mean, to each your own. I'm not gonna shove it down anybody's.
I'm shoving it
throat.
down everybody's throat.
Yeah, I kind of want to shove it. But yeah, I guess I'm more surprised. Like because
Yes.
for me who doesn't follow the men's, it would make sense that anyone who does follow the men's would also follow the women's.
Also,
Anyway.
it's bike racing. It's really good bike racing. So
Good
if you like
stuff.
bike racing, go watch the Femmes.
So good. And I mean, also, frankly, like less of a time commitment, right? Like 9 days instead of 21. To me, I'm like, better
Yeah.
bang for your buck, better racing, like
Mhm.
in a shorter time like span. Perfect.
Yeah, and the fandom for women's cycling it's being created, and we know it because now we have all these people that are asking for more mark and the type of thing. And somebody brought something up in the WhatsApp chat about how maybe it isn't very proper or cool to wear like team jerseys. And well, I get that. I get there's those unspoken etiquette rules about cycling apparel. But I would say wear whatever you want. If you want to wear, a Pauline Ferrand-Prévot jersey, like go do it. I really don't mind. But what I did notice is that many of the women's teams don't have any merch at all on their websites. I only saw some from Visma Lisa Bike. So it's basically, but not even UAE though, not even for the men. But Visma Lisa Bike, for many years, I do have one of their sweatshirts from the time where they were still Jumbo Visma. They do have quite a bit of merch in their website. They even have a Pauline Ferrand-Prévot signed mug there with the French flag. And I would love to see more things like that. And I really hope for the day where we forget paper numbers and we start assigning fixed numbers to the riders that they can wear either year round or per each Grand Tour, so that we can buy the jersey that says Ferrand-Prévot in the back or Vollering in the back, right? Wouldn't that be so sick?
Mountain biking
but yeah,
does that.
I was going to say mountain biking. Yeah. Yep.
Side note, really funny to me that Jenny Risvitz has 69.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
I was like,
I love her so much for that.
No, I love that too. And it looks good. I mean, we've seen it with Legion of Los Angeles when they threw their own race a couple of years ago back in LA, and all the jerseys of the teams have numbers, like big numbers in them, a la basketball style. And I think it would be really fun. I know like the French people are like, no, don't change anything. But come on, guys, we could make so much money.
It's true. I want more merch. Like you said, like a sweatshirt, a mug, that actually is so appealing to me compared to a jersey because, like, honestly, I won't wear a rider jersey. That does seem that just seems odd to me personally. I would just feel awkward
it's fine.
doing
Like,
it.
I'm not wearing, I feel like if you're not a world champion, especially the rainbow jersey, you should not be wearing a rainbow jersey. But at the end of the day, do whatever makes you happy.
It's true. I'm maybe just sensitive to it because, like, I think I'm like a reason, like, I'm sized enough like a pro woman cyclist that I would be concerned that someone would be like, oh, you're on that team. And I'd have to be like, no, I suck, just to be clear, like very bad cyclist. Like I would embarrass the team wearing it. Like it would be bad PR for them.
That's funny.
It is interesting, like the merch thing, when we've been talking about how good the team's social media is. Like there are some very clever, creative people. Why can't they just make some clever, creative merch?
That isn't made by AI,
maybe it's in the plans. I know from having worked on on similar projects, it's just like maybe social media is what's paying dividends right now, and maybe the plan is for 2027 or 28 have some merch there as well. Because also it's just all the organization, the designing, it all costs a lot of money. So it would mean like I don't know how many thousands of dollars they would need in their budget to get that done.
Fair enough. Okay, should we move to the stage preview?
Wait, don't you want to talk about how many riders have dropped?
Yeah.
I mean, we can, yeah. I just wanted to give an update to everyone about how many riders are left in the race, just with all this talk about the heat. I was curious, like, what the attrition had been. And as of yesterday, so after stage 5, it was reported that there were 135 riders left. Now, we started with 147. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I thought this number would be lower of riders left.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough information, of the tour, of the last 5 tours to know if that's a big number or not. But I know it's so common also in the men's to see people just getting dropped from day one. So it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And then as of today, we're down to 131 people finished today's stage. So it's still going down a little bit, but yeah, I think totally normal. I think it felt like a lot because we were having that like Lotto Intermarché, like kind of group abandoned with some kind of illness or something. So I think it seemed really dramatic. And this is one of those weird ones where like when you say like, oh, XYZ abandoned in the men's race or didn't make the time cut in the men's race, no one thinks anything of it. But when you didn't make a time cut in the women's race or you abandoned the women's race, it like has this like, we're like, what does this mean for women's cycling?
Women can't ride bikes.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think, it's good to point out that it actually hasn't been the attrition rate is not actually
It's
that
it's not
much
that high,
despite the heat and despite all of that. Yeah, 100%.
yeah. All right,
All right.
Rosael, tell us about tomorrow.
Yes. So tomorrow we have the Queen stage. So stage 7 spans 147 kilometers, starting in Lavaux-Turon and culminating in the legendary Mont Ventoux. So in total, the peloton is going to be facing an exhausting 3,500 meters of elevation gain, as the riders must navigate 3 classified climbs that come before they even get to Mont Ventoux. So the first of the 3 climbs is the Category 2 Col de la Grande Limite at kilometer 14. This is followed by Col du Colombe as a Category 3 climb at kilometer 41. And then the last one before Mont Ventoux is a Category 2 Col du Sucet at kilometer 105. But like I said, the undisputed highlight of the tour, of the 2026 tour, is the Giant of Provence, the mighty Mont Ventoux, standing at nearly 2,000 meters. So the route will head, after these 3 mountains, the route will head through the Provençal Prealps, passing to Malocène and dropping into Baydon. From there, the woman will face a 16-kilometer hors category climb with an unforgiving average grading of 8.8% by the Chalet Reynard as they make their way up to the summit of Ventoux. And yes, as you know, as Rook has told us before on this podcast, Ventoux is remarkably steady, but it is an agonizing climb with only a brief flatter section before the final push. And with the woman at the tour having already conquered the Alpe d'Huez and the Tourmalet and past editions, this introduction of Mont Ventoux is guaranteed to be a race-defining showdown. And yes, the race officially rolls out at 6:50 a.m. Eastern. That's around midday there in France. And the winner is expected to cross the summit finish around 11:17 a.m. Eastern, which will be 5 p.m. local time.
Yeah.
And as for predictions, this is a climber's day, obviously. But what do you guys expect to see tomorrow? Because I don't even know. I'm throwing the book out the window. I don't even know what to expect anymore.
Well, tomorrow's also going to be really strange because with the wildfires, they're actually not allowing spectators at the top.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's going to be like a weird ghost town of a climb, which I think actually could have an impact on racers, right? Because some racers really like take in that energy from the crowd and it really like keeps them going, especially if it does, like when it breaks up, because it will. When you're alone on the road and you can't see the rider in front of you or something, like someone cheering from the side can really make you go, right? So I think tomorrow's going to be a mental thing. It's like, and
Really different.
yeah, with that, you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to call her because I'm really hoping for it. I think PFP. I think if there's one rider who has the like mental, just get things done mentality, I want to see her come back. Look, that's all I want.
Yeah,
even if that's the only stage she gets and she loses the whole thing, I would just be really sad if she just had such a like lackluster tour.
How about you, Betsy?
I mean, I agree with Molly. I think I could see her just being like kind of frustrated and like annoyed with how it's been going and just totally light it up. I would love that too. However, I feel like Demi is probably got the fire inside her. And she's so good. She trains so hard for every single part of the race. I feel like she's pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I'm just gonna throw in Marlen Reusser there.
Let's go.
For the win. Because that would be so historic, and also because I heard from somebody that this type of climbing is really good for her. So, but yeah, like, so do we think it's gonna be like another, like, there's gonna be a break? The GC riders are gonna form their own like chasing group of select riders, and then that break is gonna get absorbed by the GC riders, and it's gonna be another GC showdown for the climb in Mont Ventoux.
I think the GC riders, like they want the win up Mont Ventoux, right? Like it's going to be a historic day in women's cycling, and they don't want, like, no offense to the other riders, they don't want a rando breakaway to get it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they want one of the big names to get it. So
Like Sigrid won't get this. I was going to say, can we do a dark horse?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can always do a
No,
dark horse. You never know.
I think you're right, Molly. I mean, that would be very exciting if that happened, and bummer for the GC peeps, but
Yeah.
we don't
But
think Puck can't get it, right?
I mean,
Like
Puck
I'd
is
love it.
racing so well.
she is. She's
So
such
she
a-
could, but it will have, I mean, she is 4 minutes, 59 seconds down. So maybe what if it's a breakaway with Puck and Pauline Ferrand-Prévot? Then a very controlled breakaway where the GC feels safe enough that they're not going to lose a race to either of those two. But I don't know. I think, like you said, it's Mont Ventoux. You're going to want to have that title for the rest of your life.
as Rook did right yesterday. Puck did this climb when she was 10 with her dad,
Yes.
so she's been at it for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
And also because I think tomorrow, basically, the GC will be mostly sealed because I just don't think that stages 8 and 9 are hard enough to have big impacts on the GC. Yes, there could be shuffling. And if something gets really close after tomorrow, there could be, a race could be lost or won. So let's just wrap this up. All right, so that wraps up our coverage of Stage 6 here on Queen Stage. Lots of love to our presenting sponsors, Bike Tires Direct and SHRAM. Their genuine commitment to advancing women's cycling is what allows us to deliver these daily podcast episodes.
Yes, and don't forget to enter today's giveaway on our Instagram before tomorrow's stage starts. Just comment Bike Tires Direct on today's highlight reel and tag 2 friends, and you might win a very fancy musette and some goodies.
And make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss our recap. In the meantime, keep those questions coming in the WhatsApp chat. That's been so fun. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you tomorrow.